we have the singular honor and privilege to have a conversation with the #1 journalist in Edo State, the Edo State chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Edo State Council. I'm talking about the one and only Comrade Festus Alenghe. Thank you for joining us on the program, Comrade.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Nice.
Well, Comrade Festus has had a very beautiful tenure as the chairman of the NUJ, the State Council. In the last few minutes, and our curtain raiser on the show, we talked about the fact that there is urgent need for us as a country to always look out for people that are competent, that are qualified, that have capacity, that have knowledge, that have what it takes to lead at different levels of governance and leadership if we actually want to move our nation forward. In a sense, Comrade has lived up to that expectation since his assumption of office as the state chairman of the NUJ, even though it was characterized with some challenges here and there, but you've been able to weather the storm and stabilized, and you're more or less like on a roller coaster. So talk to us, how has it been really?
Well, the pre-part of it was a bit very tough.
Okay.
Turbulence, usually, and the normal way is for people to come to say, oh, we don't want you, but others will say, we want you, and then we'll go into contest. But the majority of those that say, we want you, will eventually have its way, and that's what brought me in. But then, while we were doing that, I told them that we are going to put in some activities, even projects. People like, is it possible? I said, yeah, it's very possible. And so we came in, we used our public relations that we have garnered in the past and others to bring people together, to support the NUJ. So I want to say that it has been very robust all the while. Great one, great outing all the while. Since we came on board, everything has been going on smoothly. No cause for alarm at all.
So how were you able to form that alliance, forge a common front between those who were for and those who were against, to have the level of stability that you have to be able to drive, the templates that you created before the election?
The first thing that one should consider is, by the time you win any election, you quickly redesign yourself. One, ensure that you don't bring in the bad law that existed before the election.
Okay.
They'll put everybody together. Now you are now the leader of everyone.
Okay.
So once that gets into your head that you are now the leader of everyone, both the opposition and your colleagues, so let's flow together. And that was the first thing we had. And then, while we were preparing for that contest, of course, if anybody is coming into contest, you must have the mind to say, okay, if I win, this is what I'm going to do, and that's manifesto. So we wrote out our manifesto then, though people didn't believe, and I'm happy to tell you that we have achieved 95% of the manifesto we wrote out.
Can we talk about specifics in terms of
these? Yeah. Okay, let's start from, the first thing we did was to install a free Wi-Fi in the NUJ. We did that within 24 hours we came on board. We installed a free Wi-Fi for journalists to send their stories. They used to scamper to look for how to send stories. But once you get into the press center, then you hold your phone, it will just click onto the network. You start to send your stories. So we did that in 24 hours. Then security, I cover crime, I know what happens on a daily basis. So I have to ensure that where we work is adequately secured.
Okay.
So the first thing we did was to get to the Commissioner of Police to provide the undercover security men stationed in the press center. And then the other was, we now installed the CCTV facility. In case anything happens, you'll be able to trace.
Okay.
Sometime before it happens, you'll be able to see. So we had that already on ground. But I just discovered that some of our colleagues too need to be encouraged in the area of economy. We approached a bank. We had a very robust interaction. And then we got some of our colleagues to key into soft loan, very minimal, the interest.
Okay.
So we agreed, and most of our colleagues, some bought cars and others, then those who were developing their properties somewhere, they picked up the loan and then went to finish up. And then I'm happy to say, as we speak now, the bank I never complained to say that somebody is defaulting. You understand? So till we speak, everything is going on peacefully. And then some too are still coming. And then we have been encouraging them, okay, pick up the loan, use it judiciously. Yeah. And a lot have actually picked up that loan, and then I can see the result. We didn't stop there. I also noticed that some of our colleagues will have 1 or 2 issues in the area of health. We approached Edo State Health Insurance Scheme. They brought in their facility into the press center. They encouraged us. They told us their products and all of that. Most of our colleagues keyed into that, especially those, because like me, I work with Edo State government. So automatically, I've already keyed into Edo Health Insurance Scheme. But we have some journalists who are either for national or for states. Okay. So we encourage them to key into the Edo State Health Insurance Scheme. They have all registered. And some, even that gave birth some time ago, they went through that process. Okay. And then some too, whose family, either wife or son or doctor, fell ill, they go to the nearest medical facility through Edo Health Insurance Scheme. They were treated, you know. So we had that already working. But we didn't stop there. We also met with the Ministry of Health. Please, can you come and test our journalists? We run 24 hours. We run after stories. Some don't even remember to go to the hospital. Yeah. You know,
except when they're down.
Yes, except when they're
completely too
down.
Late at that time.
Maybe they just get paracetamol or whatever, then they keep on. We said no. There might be some that may have 1 or 2 terminal issues coming up, and then they should be able to check or diagnose some of these alcohol. So we interacted with the Commissioner for Health, then Professor Obey. She arranged health officials from the Ministry of Health, specialist hospital, and all. They came to the press center with their equipment. And then all the journalists subjected themselves to medical examination, even including COVID-19 and all of that, even eye tests and all. So we did all that. Yeah. But the greatest of it all is we had issue at the backside of the press center. You know, we now tried as much. We discovered that marauders usually come through the moat into the press center. What we did was to do complete fencing, wire fencing from the beginning of the press center down towards the EFCC. And we have closed that part completely. So the press center today is adequately secured. And guess what, Sonny Duke? The main hall of the NUJ is now AC fitted. Wow. Wow. That hall you used to come upstairs. Yeah. We have air conditioners everywhere. Wow. And then we painted it, we prepared it for public use, apart from what we want to use it for some time. Yeah. But members of the public can come in and maybe seminars, workshops, and all of that. So you have that everywhere. And then we didn't even stop there too. The backside, when you come into the press center, especially the backside, you can't even walk because of the... It's muddy. Yes, muddy. Yeah. And we tried as much as we got some people together, we got and ensured that the place was well tapped. And as we speak now, we also embarked in massive renovation of the press center. And we discovered that most of our colleagues too, sometimes they find it difficult to shop, especially food items. We opened Edo NUJ Food Mart with rice, beans, and many other food items. And we had that already in place. Okay. So this was just between a minimum of a year and 6 months. Fantastic. We did all this. So we still have like a year and 6 months to go for first tenure. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, let's talk about one major issue that pertains to the press. Yes. Its role in entrenching and sustaining good governance. In today's world, it looks like something that has been turned on its head. Either the press is being gagged, or we just have some of our colleagues who bring forth nonchalant attitude or negligent attitude that tends to undermine that sacred role that the press is supposed to play in entrenching good governance. Well, yeah, I did an investigation into this, on my own personal investigation. I discovered that there are 2 ways to this. One, owner of media houses. Media ownership. Yes. And 2, are the journalists themselves. So some are a bit greedy. And apart from that, some too are underpaid. Welfare now? Yes. Okay. So when you are underpaid and somebody is there trying to offer you a bigger money, whatever, and then you want to dance to the tune of that person who is offering you that high amount. Okay. And many occasions too, we have also discovered that some of these persons you see write stories and are not even journalists. They are not trained journalists, because to our understanding, the training is that if you have any story that you want to take that is affecting one person or the other, either an institution or body, you must investigate properly. You must find out if somebody bring a story to you to say Mr. A stole my cow last night, will you just pick up the story and say Mr. A stole? You are supposed to go to Mr. A. They said you stole somebody's cow last night.
Let's hear your side of the story.
You follow the story. But many of our colleagues don't even bother to do that sometimes. So we now have ethics advisory committee in NUJ Nigeria, that whose duty it is now to try journalists that go against the rules and regulations of the journalism profession. If you do that, you'll be sanctioned, because the law provides that you must balance fair hearing. You must adhere to fair hearing in the journalism profession. But when you go against that, then you're also going against the rules and regulations of the Nigeria journalists. So such journalists will be caught by shard. Let me use that word. So, but again, coming back to national development, journalism is embedded in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's there that it is our duty to interrogate government. It is our duty to find out. It's our duty to go in depth to let the world know what is going on in a particular society. Most of us are still doing this, and I'm happy that we have not actually noticed much of press gagging lately compared to what we used to have in the military. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let us, how many journalists are in prison today in Nigeria? Or let's say Edo State. Have you heard of any? To say, okay, because this journalist wrote this story, the journalist was arrested, detained, and thrown into prison. No. So because we are in the democratic government, and everybody needs to play his or her role. So to us, I will urge my colleagues to please continue to do in-depth stories, continue to do in-depth investigation, and bring out what the people don't know. And that is it.
All right. Has this role been worsened by the advent of ICT and new media?
To an extent. Now, somebody can just wake up and raise alarm. 100 people killed in Edo. Nobody died at all. From your bedroom, because of ICT, internet, and all others, you just get your phone, you raise false alarm. Or somebody can just come to say, oh, people from neighboring state, they have invaded one other community in Edo, whereas nobody even moved to the community at all. And before you know it, people start picking the stories. Now, we have advised our colleagues, if you get some stories, do your own investigation before you pick the story.
Before you publish it.
Yes. Some days ago, you saw a report that says that former Nigerian military leader died. But the man didn't die.
Yeah.
Do you know, somebody must have just cooked up that story from somewhere.
Yeah.
And many occasions, it may even go into mainstream media. So we now picked it from there without doing investigation. You agree that so many people did that story.
Yeah.
But in less than an hour or two, the man said, I'm still alive. You know, so what we are saying, yes, we have had occasions like that where even national television, everybody jumping onto the story. You know why? Because some media organizations want to be the first to break the story.
Yeah. When
you rush to break story, you rush to break the wrong story.
And the story may even break
yes,
you eventually.
That's what we said. Yeah. So we advise our colleagues all over the country that if somebody give you a story, find out. You must investigate before you make it public. But some don't. They rush into the story. So just like I said, somebody will just sit, wake up this morning, you bring up your phone, 100 people killed in Edo. Then you post it on the WhatsApp. Yeah. From WhatsApp, it goes to Facebook. Everybody starts sharing. What is it about
what is it about the press and negative news, negative story?
Yeah. Negative news set the press far. If you come up to say somebody had bagged a PhD in physics, you put that story. Or to come to say somebody who bagged a PhD, the PhD had been withdrawn. Put these two stories together and see the one that will fly far. So when you say this person bagged a PhD yesterday,
yes,
then you put the story. Then you now put another story, say a man who bagged a PhD, the PhD has been withdrawn. You put the story, you see that the withdrawn PhD story will
more traction.
move fast. But that's nature, and it's more or less worldwide.
Okay, but I've heard some scholars, also read some scholars talk about the need for us to explore development media, development communication,
yes,
development press. What are your thoughts along those lines? Because this seems to be a major challenge even for us in this country, where there is this misconception, wrong perception about Nigeria, as it were. Even the Western media, there are a lot of things that they suppress because they are looking at the image of the country.
So it's all over the world. National matters a lot when it comes to stories. There are some stories you see as a Nigerian. You say, okay, if I take this story now, it will give us very bad image. Maybe some persons are supposed to travel to a particular country will not be allowed because of this story. Sometimes you consider national interest in some of these stories. There are stories too which you know as a journalist, if you take this story, the country will burn. If you take this story, there will be crisis in Edo. As a journalist, you must consider the interest of the country. You must consider the interest of your state. So when you look at that, maybe 50-50, but you can still take it in a subtle manner.
Yeah.
In a subtle manner. If they now come to say, oh, one community invaded another community, killed over 1,000 people, at least something should tell you that there will be crisis more. You can say there is crisis currently brewing in one community. The attention of the military or the police is needed.
Yeah.
You have taken in a very subtle manner.
Yeah.
But you say 1,000 kids. Then you name the community, invaded and killed the head of the place. What are you now saying? You are now saying that the other community immediately mobilized and return back, then the crisis will deepen. So, like some people will always say, they say, journalists, if they write today, war will come, which is true.
Absolutely.
It's true. We can just put ourselves together like by 5 journalists, we raise alarm. There'll be, even you will start running.
Everybody will start running. All right, let's look at the issue of welfare for practitioners. That has been, I mean, for ages, that has been a major talking point. And when you look at some of our colleagues, how they live, how they do the things that they do, it does appear that from the organization that they represent, not much is coming in. How do we deal with that?
It's really very disturbing. Today, only journalists that work in federal government, state government, and some few private parastatals are the ones doing well right now. Let's be realistic. Majority of our colleagues today are underpaid. Some are not even in the payroll at all. Owners of media organizations don't even care. You know what they do now? They will just give you ID card. They say, that is your salary. How? That's not possible. So that's why we are calling on the National Executive Council of the Nigeria Union of Journalists to rise, which they are already doing. Now they are engaging the Ministry of Labor and Productivity, whose duty it is to give directive to some of these media organizations. And you and I know that when you do such thing to a worker, of course you are bringing down the image of that worker.
Absolutely.
And that worker will not have the full mind to work.
Yeah.
And even if that worker must work at all, you now start thinking of corruption and all of that to survive.
Cutting corners.
So you can imagine that somebody at the end of the month will not be paid. You say this ID card is your salary. What are you sending that person? What are you asking that person to do? You're asking that person to cut corners.
To compromise.
You're asking that person to compromise and
breach all the ethics and ethos of the profession.
That we eventually bring down the image of the profession. And that's where we find ourselves today.
Okay, it's been nice talking with Comrade Festus Aleng here, the chairman, NUJ, Edo State Council. I mean, very robust conversation. And just to also let you know that he's one of our veterans in crime reporting. You can take that from him anytime, any day. So good to have you here. Now, quickly, the talks that under your leadership that the council and the members, they've compromised in terms of reporting critical issues of Edo State government. What do you say about that?
No, that's not true. Well, what we agreed is when you say
was there an agreement?
Yes, no agreement. That's what I want to clear you now.
Okay. Was there an agreement?
No agreement.
Okay.
No agreement. Just that they are doing the right thing. In the past, before I came, you used to see a group of journalists. They will just go pick up stories, harass state government, harass government officials, and that's not journalism. If you have any story concerning any ministry, what are you supposed to do? You go to the ministry. But in the past, they don't. But we now have the rules to say you must clear every story. One, you have the commissioner.
Is it clear or investigate?
No, you can investigate.
Yeah. Because when you clear, it looks like the ministry has to clear the story.
Okay, the one I'm talking about clear, maybe somebody is bringing a story to you.
Okay.
Before you
have to authenticate.
You have to authenticate. You have to clear.
Okay.
Then from your own too, you can even do that briefly and do a follow-up story. And when you are doing the follow-up, you are investigating. But in the past, they don't. You just see somebody bringing a story to say, oh, Adolo College Road is this, is that, nobody is talking. What are you supposed to do? Are you not supposed to go to Ministry of Infrastructure to find out Adolo College is in a very terrible state? What are you doing? Then let them respond. But in the past, they don't. Then you see journalists too picking on individuals in government and start to laugh. We are saying no. Even if anybody had come to say one or two things about an individual in government, what you are supposed to do is you contact the person to say this is what they have said about you. And you do investigation, you interview the person, you put it on your tape, and then you use.
Yeah.
We don't have opinion. Let me quickly let you know.
Absolutely. We
don't have opinion to any issue. We don't have public opinion. You might have internal opinion, but you don't have public opinion.
You don't vocalize it, yes. You don't voice it, yeah.
Do you understand? Yeah. Is it your duty now to do a report, for instance, crime report, and then somebody has been arrested? Then you are now telling the court, this person is supposed to go for 24 years imprisonment. It's wrong.
You're opinionating.
Do you understand? It's wrong. So what you are supposed to do is you can only report this person has been arrested, under investigation, he will be charged to court. Therefore, you now go to court to do a follow-up. This person came to court today and then he has been remanded. You are reporting, but you don't have any opinion to that.
Absolutely.
So we told our colleagues, you don't have opinion to any issue. Instead, you do the one they have complained about, you do the one you have also investigated, you put them together and push to the public. It's the public that have their opinion.
Based on your presentation.
That's the truth of the matter.
Balanced facts.
What we are not doing today, which a lot of person has now said, oh, maybe we have supported government, because we are doing the right thing. If they were not doing the right thing in the past, but this present administration of the Nigeria Union of Journalists those days, we are doing the right thing. And that's the truth. So have you been seeing any story to say, oh, for quite some time now, have you seen Edo State government refuting any story?
No.
You know why? Because before any story goes, we are going to do our own investigation. We are going to. The Commissioner for Communication is there. Chris Neihari. You can find out anything about Edo State government. Cruz Osage is there. SA Media Project. You can find anything about. They are always there to talk to you. So why will you not go and just start writing story without doing? If it's a story concerning Ministry of Health, why not go to the Commissioner for Health? If it's concerning Ministry of Education, the Commissioner for Education is there. It's when they don't oblige you. Thank God you report too. If they don't oblige you, put it in one paragraph. Contacted to the declared comment.
Yeah.
Then your story can go.
Of course.
But it's already on record that you visited the ministry.
To reach out to them. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Comrade Festus Alenkhe, for creating the time to be here to talk to us. But we just move forward a little bit. The Nigeria media, in a sense, is still evolving against the background of some of the things that we see today. I've heard people say that part of the challenges that we have as it relates to communication, we don't have professionals in ministries, departments, and agencies coordinating information flow. And so every now and then you have some of these blips here and there as it relates to how what comes out and how it comes out, how it is managed, even in crisis situations. Let's get to take on this.
Thank you. I think we are gradually getting that right now, gradually. November 14th, 2022, during the National Executive Council meeting of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, I moved a motion in the floor of all the journalists across Nigeria made up of both the 36 states of the Federation, all chairmen and secretaries, and the National Executive Council. I moved a motion there to say that henceforth, federal government, state government, local government, parastatals, and all others should engage the services of media practitioners. They should engage the services of journalists to manage the public relations. And I think that's gradually coming out now.
Okay.
FCT chairman of NUJ is now Chief Press Secretary Cross River State. Benue State, the Chief Press Secretary is the Zone D Vice President of NUJ. And you have that across. Then here in Edo State, Crusoe Sage is one of us. He's a journalist with this day. And the current Chief Press Secretary in Edo State today, Okumboa Andrew, is from the Blueprint newspaper. And they are all here.
Okay.
So you have that virtually everywhere. So we are also quickly calling on local government council administrations in Edo State to emulate the state government by ensuring that those who manage their information are qualified media practitioners, qualified journalists should be engaged. Because by the time you go to bring an engineer to come and manage your information, you see the difference.
Yeah.
So, but we also notice that for you to be commissioner for it, you must be in the health sector.
Yeah.
For you to manage the infrastructural part of it, that's engineering, you must be an engineer for you to be in roads and bridges and all of that. So why not also engage media practitioners? Why not also engage journalists to also manage your information? So we use this opportunity to call on those in authority, try as much as possible, look for qualified journalists, practicing ones, not the those still in the field, those that will be able to move from one location to the other, to be able to manage your information very well, write good press releases for you. Sometimes interpersonal relationship matters a lot. There are some stories a colleague had to say that because of you, it's already to the advantage of your organization.
Absolutely.
So they should be able to do all this.
All right. Let's quickly tail out with this. The present administration under Ahmed Bola Tinubu, I mean, just a few months in office, but we've seen a lot of things happening. Some of the negative, for some people, majority on the negatives. The economy is down. We just saw today now, exchange rate naira to dollar over 1,000 naira, and that's not the end. It's probably going to, increase. Even though the minister has said that the president has local content, more than enough local content to stabilize the economy. What's your major take on how this government has fared so far? Is it too early to make that kind of assessment?
We're already about 5-6 months down the line, and it's quite unfortunate. What I want to say now, people are dying in the streets. I don't think they know. It's like they don't know, and people can't even eat 3 square meals a day now. If you drive through some area, you see vehicles parked along the road. The owners will just walk away
and leave the vehicle.
Yes, because they can't afford the fuel and all that. And then before you know it, you say, okay, maybe they'll start calling you. What's happen? My motor don't off for road. I better help me with 10,000. Even that 10,000 you sell to the person can't even buy 20 liters. Do you understand? Can you buy 20 liters? Yesterday I bought fuel. I said, okay, put 12,000 naira for me. And the guy said it was 19 point something meters. That's 12,000. Not even reach 20 liters. It's quite unfortunate. That's the situation we find ourselves today. So the area of power, no light anywhere. Terrible. So some people like, the man just started. Let's be patient. I think I now ask some people. I say, it's when you start early. That first stage, you try to do your man. Even as a footballer, So I'm not saying that now. Are you going to wait for when it to that be injury time before you now start to let the people smile? I said, but it's when you come aboard. Okay, why did you come?
If you didn't have the answers to the questions.
So I really don't want to talk too much into that so that we don't try to cause further trouble. Because people right now are very angry.
Very, very.
Very angry. Very angry. And I hope they know. Let's be realistic. Nobody that is not affected, even if you are a billionaire, one way or the other, you must be affected with the current situation.
Absolutely.
So even if it's not you, a friend, a relation, your colleagues and others will also be affected. They will
One way or the other, either you are affected directly or you are affected indirectly.
If I want to advise, Nigerian government should go and look for some retired economists in this country. Bring them together, form a team, let them advise. I don't think the president have an economic advisor who are supposed to advise him. Your Excellency, let's do this. Your Excellency, when you do this, it will be okay. Let's do this. This country did this before.
Yeah.
Then find out from some countries that went through this process, how did they succeed?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And you also know that it's possible for you to bring an external economist. And you bring the person quietly, unannounced.
But you've seen the result.
Yes, unannounced. They will be advising you, giving you paperwork and everything. You give it a try. But today, I think they are not hardly listening to anybody. How can we have somebody like Dr. Okonjo-Iweala in that international level, and then we are going through this? I can't understand. She's helping to build other countries, and our country is going this way. We are drifting.
All right, thank you very much. It's been awesome time with the State Council Chairman of the NUJ, Edo State, Comrade Festus Alenka. He's also a management staff with Edo Broadcasting Service, and a veteran crime reporter, public affairs analyst, public relations specialist. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Really a delight to have you on the show today.
Thank you.